Hello friends, welcome to LeggLife. My name is Adam and I'm so excited about today's video because today, March 1st, we are announcing a whole new lineup of Shop 49th businesses. These are the 5 Alaskan small businesses and the 1 Alaskan nonprofit that we are featuring on Shop 49 this month. Now, for those of you who may not know, Shop 49th is something that Sherri and I launched here on our channel early in February. Essentially what happened is that we heard the cruise season was going to be shut down again this year. And as soon as we heard that, we just our hearts sank. And we were like, we have to do something. And this is our something. It's a way for us to use our platform, to use whatever impact and influence we have here on YouTube, to hopefully rally you, the LeggLife community, to help support Alaskan small businesses. And I just have to say, in the first month of this, what we saw happen was so far beyond anything I could have possibly imagined. It was bigger than any dream I had, the way you responded, the way you shared about this, the way you supported these businesses. I am blown away by what we saw happen last month, and I'm so excited to have the opportunity to do it all again this month. Now, in about 48 hours, Shop 49th went from an idea in an Instagram live stream to the purchase of a domain, the build of a website, and orders coming into those businesses, and all month long, those orders didn't stop. Now, before I get into the new businesses we're announcing, I just want to tell you guys some things that we saw happen in Shop 49th in the month of February. Shop 49th went from just our little LeggLife community to a much larger reach, as we saw the largest TV news channel in Alaska run a story on what we're doing. And I'm going to go ahead and link that story in the video description below in case you haven't seen it. We also saw an amazing group that runs the Alaska Life. Now, the Alaska Life is one of the largest social media groups in all of the entire state. It's close to 1 million people they have connected with them on Facebook and Instagram, and they reached out, said, we love what you're doing. We want to help amplify this. We want to help spread the word. We have heard from trade organizations. We have heard from chambers of commerce. We have heard from business owners all around the country about how inspiring this has been, about how impactful this has been. And as I mentioned earlier, this is so far beyond what I expected. And if I could sum it up, I actually want to use the words of Springberry. Spring is the owner of The Woodlands in Ketchikan, one of the highlighted businesses in February. She was doing a live stream over on The Woodlands Facebook page, and she said this phrase that so jumped out at me that I had to write it down. She said, what you have done is overwhelmingly good. Now, it's not what Sherri and I have done. It's what you have done. We may have bought a domain, built a website, and told you all about it, but you showed up. And you showed up in a way that I could never have possibly imagined. So from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of Sherri's heart, thank you so much for showing up and supporting the businesses in February. And my hope, here's what I hope for this, is that this is not a 1-month fad where we all got excited and we got behind it and we bought some stuff, because the reality is for these businesses, this need continues. It's not just a 1-month need, it goes on and on. That's why every single month we're highlighting an entire new group of businesses. And then I also want to say, if you bought something in the month of February from one of our 5 Alaskan businesses and you loved that product, maybe you loved Cane's Head Coffee, would you continue to support them? Right? If there is something that you found that you want to add to your life, would you do that? Because I would love to see those businesses gain repeat customers that will help them make it through another canceled cruise season. Now, it was only a few days after we launched this, and I started to get the reports back from the business owners about how many sales they were seeing come in, that I thought, oh man, I should probably start looking at businesses for next month. I should get ahead a little bit because this is turning into something kind of big. And just so you know how big from the perspective of sales, one of our Shop 49th businesses in the month of February had more online sales in the 3-week period of Shop 49th than they did the entire previous year. That is unbelievable. That is what you did. So when business owners talk about overwhelmingly good, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about that because you showed up and you supported them. And so now let's jump into the new Alaskan businesses and the 1 Alaskan nonprofit that we're gonna support this month. And I'm really excited about this list of businesses, and I think you guys are going to be too. You know, when I choose these businesses, some of the things that I look for is I look for businesses that are in areas of our state that are hard hit and impacted like this. And I'm gonna talk in coming months about that, because the reality is our entire state is hit by this. In the future, we're going to focus on businesses in places like Fairbanks and North Pole and Talkeetna, and not just cruise port towns, because tourism is a statewide industry. And so the ripples of a canceled cruise season spread across our state. So we are going to branch out to other locations around our state. One of the other things I look for, just to be quite honest, is that the business has to have a functional online store. I need you guys to be able to go to their website, spend some money, and support them, and the product actually gets to you. So here we go. Here are the March businesses. And just so you know, the shop49th.com website is already updated. All of the businesses are listed over there. You can go over there, you can follow them on social media, so make that happen. Business number one. This is the Prince William Sound Salt Company from Whittier, Alaska. Now this is a really cool business, and obviously, as the name suggests, they make ocean sea salt. And one of the things that I love that they do is they actually pump the water from like the depths of the ocean, places where microplastics and other things like that don't exist. So the purity of the salt is through the roof. I also love that this is a business that is owned and run by lifelong Alaskans. And then just to be honest, the town that they are in, the town of Whittier, if you've watched our channel for a while, you know that we have a vlog on this town. This is a town that is so reliant on the cruise industry. There are cruise ships that pull right into their port most years. And when the cruise ship pulls in, thousands of people go into the town of Whittier and they're able to buy things like Prince William Sound sea salt, but not this year. And so I say this a lot, but because they can't show up, we can. And so I'm excited that Prince William Sound Sea Salt is our first March business. And our second business is from Juneau, Alaska, and that is the Alaskan Fudge Company. Now this business is pretty iconic in Juneau. And I can tell you, I have gone to Juneau many times, and I have stood at the window and I have looked into their business and watched them make fudge. I've heard from so many of you LeggLife viewers who reached out about this business and said, hey, would you consider them? Because when we were in Juneau, we had some of the very best of fudge of our life at this little shop downtown. And as soon as I saw the number of you guys talking about that, I started to remember the great fudge that I've had from there. I started to remember how fun it was to walk downtown Juneau and see their business and see them kind of the hustle and bustle as cruise passengers filled their lobby, waiting and watching as they made fudge. And then I thought about what it must be like for them this year and what it must have been like for them last year when they are still operating, but the hustle and bustle is gone. So they do fudge. They do candies, they do chocolates, they do truffles, they do all of that kind of stuff. Who doesn't love that stuff? So the Alaskan Fudge Company in Juneau, Alaska is business number two. Business number three is Waterbody. And Waterbody is from Wrangell, Alaska. Now, Wrangell's a small town in southeast Alaska, and when I first heard about Waterbody, I went to their website and there were a couple things that really stood out to me. Number one, I was just impressed by how great it looked, right? Like the presentation of what they're doing is pretty beautiful. See, they're making skin and body care products right here in Alaska, using the things that Alaska has in abundance, our forests, our oceans, things that are pure and clean to make body products that honestly really do look spectacular. And as I read more about them, I really love that the products that they use are organically grown, they're sustainably harvested. It uses what the land naturally produces. And I know a lot of times when people visit Alaska, that's one of the things you guys want. Like, you don't want something that was produced somewhere else or made somewhere else and then brought to Alaska. You guys want things that are from Alaska, things that are native to our land. And I think that Waterbody provides that. So Waterbody from Wrangell, Alaska is business number three. Now, business number four is from a town that honestly was one of the reasons I started this project. There was an article in the Anchorage Daily News, and I talked about this in one of our first videos. There was an article in the Anchorage Daily News, and I think it was the mayor of Skagway, Alaska. He said something that just, it resonated with me. He said that if something doesn't happen, Skagway as we know it won't exist. And I started to think about what that meant. And I started to think about the businesses that go away and the people that go away and the impact on a town and on a community. And I thought, that's when I thought we have to do something. And so from the very beginning of this, I've wanted to find businesses in Skagway. Because Skagway is one of those Alaskan towns that is just so reliant on the ships showing up. And once again, they're not. And so the business that we're highlighting in Skagway this month is called Klondike Gift Supply. Now, as soon as I started looking through their website, I liked the kind of products they sold, but then I got to interact with the owners and I liked it even more. They moved from Orlando, Florida to Skagway, Alaska. This is like one of their dreams to open a shop like this. And it's not just like a typical gift shop that you see kind of all over the state. See, they actually curate all of the items that are there from people around the state who make great products. They kind of bring the handmade Alaskan products that exist all over right there to their store. So they're supporting other Alaskan makers, other Alaskan small businesses, other Alaskan artists. And I love that we get to support them. So Klondike Gift Supply from Skagway, Alaska, business number 4. And the final business this month is called Stoked Beekeeping, and they're from Homer, Alaska. Now, if you watched our RV trip with Cruise America last summer here in Alaska, Homer was one of the towns we went to. It is this beautiful, stunning hamlet by the sea. It is spectacular. And Stoked takes the natural beauty, their natural location, and makes wild Alaska honey. They make Alaska wildflower honey. They make Alaska fireweed honey. And so as I looked through their website and I looked at the quality of their product and I read reviews of people who have purchased their product in the past and the things they had to say about that, I thought, you know what? I think our viewers would love something like this. Wild Alaskan, pure wildflower honey right here from the last frontier in a town that's hit hard by this. We noticed this last summer when we were in Homer. I've been to Homer dozens of times in my life. And it's one of those towns that in the summer, there's just like a buzz. There's just kind of people everywhere, and there's just like a buzz, I think. There's this energy. And I didn't feel that last summer. And there were a lot of businesses that I noticed their doors weren't open. And it's a town that I know will be hit hard again this year. And so I'm excited that we get to support the town of Homer by supporting Stoked Beekeeping. So those are the 5 businesses, but we're doing something different this month. And we're going to do this each month going forward, because shortly into this project, I started to get messages from you guys. And you guys would say stuff like, you know what, Adam, I live internationally and some of the shipping I just can't afford, but I still want to donate. I still want to give money. I still want to help some way. Like, how can I help? And other of you were just like, you know what, like, I don't really want to purchase a product. Like, is there some place I could just give to? And so I started to think, we've got to figure that out. Now, you guys watching will know I'm actually the executive director of a nonprofit. And so I know that nonprofits have been hit hard by this as well. And here's how they've been hit hard. Because the cruise industry is such a big part of Alaska's economy that when that gets hit, it hits people's pocketbooks. And so they may not give as much. Corporations may not be giving as much. There's just a lot of things that are impacting Alaska's nonprofits. And so I thought, you know what, moving forward, what if one nonprofit got selected every single month? And we found a way to support them for those who want to. And over the next several months, these nonprofits are gonna be a wide range of what they do. But the first one we selected is one that I'm really familiar with. And it's also one that I know has been hit so hard by not just last year's canceled cruise season, but they will be hit by this year's as well. And that's the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. Now, we have made a lot of videos at the Wildlife Conservation Center. It is one of the places that every time we have guests from out of state visit, we try to go. We believe in the mission. We believe in what they're trying to do. We believe in the impact that they're having to rehabilitate animals right here in our home state. And it is just one of my very favorite places. But again, last year, we went there a number of times, and I'd never seen it like that. I've never been able to go to the Wildlife Conservation Center on a beautiful, sunny summer day and look around and see a few people. Normally there's tour buses in there, and there's lots of rental cars in the parking lot, and there's people from all over the world exploring and seeing the animals and learning about what they do. But that wasn't the case last year, and I'm afraid it's not going to be the case this year. So, how in the world are we going to support the Wildlife Conservation Center? With all the other businesses, I'm encouraging you guys to go on their website, buy products from them, buy birthday gifts, buy anniversary gifts, buy Mother's Day gifts, buy whatever is coming up, anything you can do to support them. No purchase is too small. That's one of the things that I heard time and time again from business owners in the month of February, that every purchase matters so much to them right now. But with the Wildlife Conservation Center, it's a little bit different, right? So there are some ways that you can support them. First of all, they have an Amazon wish list. There are things that they need for the animals right there at the center. And so on the Shop 49th website, under the Wildlife Conservation Center, you'll see a link to their Amazon wish list. Second, you can do things like sponsor animals. You can just donate to them. Maybe you look through the website and you see their mission and you say, you know what, this is the kind of place I want to support. Because Sherri and I, just totally honest, Sherri and I are members of the Wildlife Conservation Center. And the reason that we renew our membership every year is that Alaska is a better state because of organizations and because of places like that. What they contribute to our state in education, what they contribute to our state in animal rehabilitation, what they contribute to our state in just a stunningly beautiful location to go is worth it. And so that's our first nonprofit with Shop 49. So friends, there you go. We're doing it again in March. And I asked you last month to please help. And you helped in a way that I could not even imagine. And so this month, I'm asking you again, please help. As much as the businesses last month needed it, the businesses this month need it as well. Now, I do want to remind us, there are a lot of ways to help. Going on a website and purchasing, or going on a website and making a donation is a very, very important one. But there are times that we can't do that, right? And so then we look at other ways that we can help, other ways we can make a difference. And so I want to encourage you, would you follow these businesses on social media? Would you like their post? Would you comment on their post? Would you just send them words of encouragement and hope to let them know that even in another hard year like this year, what they're doing is seen by people, and there are people out there that are rooting for them. That's one of the things that we heard from one of the business owners last month that really did stick with me. They said that this whole project that we're doing, Shop 49th, has encouraged them to just keep going. And it was so encouraging to them to know that there were people that were out there that were rooting for them. You can root for businesses in a lot of ways. You can purchase stuff from them. You can, again, follow them on social media. You can just send them messages of encouragement. I love that you guys did that last month. I didn't ask you to do that, but I heard from business owners that said, hey, your people are just like sending us lots of emails and they're calling us and they're just being really nice and encouraging. And I love that you guys did that. So thank you. Now let's do that again. And then one final reminder, this is happening everywhere. This isn't just in Alaska. Obviously, Sherri and I care very much about Alaska because it's our home state. One of our hopes for Shop 49th is that, yes, you would support the businesses we highlight, but also that each one of us would do what Sherri and I had to do. We had to look and say, what resources do I have to help? For us, it's our platform. For us, it's YouTube. For you, it may be something else. But businesses in our state and in your community need us to do something. And so I'm asking you once again, in the month of March, please, let's do something. LeggLife community, you guys know we love you so very much. We're so thankful for the way that you support all this stuff. You have blown us away time and time again, and I cannot wait to see what you do this month. Shop49th.com. Everything is linked down below. Ready? Go.